13signsastrology.com. So I consider myself a researcher. I pretty much consider my occupation to be that of research. Um, I kick a version of astrology, and a lot of people don't understand it because I really read and do readings, and I actually go into the lettering of the zodiac signs. So when I talk about the lettering, I'm not just talking about, you know, you're a Scorpio, you're very sexual, you're a Virgo, you're very analytical, you're a Taurus, you tend to uh, teal and work hard, and you're a very hard worker. I go a step further than that because I go into the actual readings and the lettering of astrology when I, do a reading for someone. So it can get very intense. I mean, I have different levels of readings and things like that I do. And that's why a lot of people, they tend to not understand this version of astrology that I kick, because it's like, if you're going to get any type of understanding of the occult, you must first get into the understanding of words. I tell people this all the time. Before you study anything else, before you go into any of the magic and the rituals and all of that type of stuff, you must study the wording, because the wording is what the keys and how the entities and the deities move through the words and the language. See, this is how the magic actually plays out through the wording. So this is why I became an occult, and I consider myself an occult researcher and an investigator, because of the fact that when you get into this, a lot of times it gets very unexplainable. Things happen that are very almost considered spooky even. So I consider myself an open research channel, and when I do that, it tends to help me to communicate with these different entities and things of that nature, to extract information to find out what exactly is the agenda of these different entities. Like, what exactly do they want? Because this is what people don't understand. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna shut down. Like, our role here on Earth is deep. Like, we didn't just come here. We're not just like animals, and we didn't just come here like the animals and just appear here. Like, we had outside beings to come at different times that came to update and to speed up our evolution. And this happens over every so many years or whatever. These beings, they come and they update and they speed up our evolution, and they leave information with us, and it's up to us to figure it out. So it's like, for instance, like with the school of the monk, and then you say that we evolved from monkeys. Where did this idea of us evolving from monkeys come from? From the school of the monk and the missing information from the school of the monk, because we never got that information because it was never taught to us. So you evolving from a monkey is much more deeper than what they're explaining. This is going into the school of mysticism and the school of activating your Merkaba and transforming. Like when you say you're a Buddhist monk, they understand what I'm talking about. This is going into tapping into aspects of your DNA and beginning to learn how to transform aspects of your DNA that are actually awakening you. Believe this or not, when you die, there's a part of you that stays alive, and it takes longer to die. So essentially, when you die, there's a part of you in your DNA that's still living, and you can still experience reality. And this is why the Egyptians would bury themselves with certain ornaments and things of that nature, because of the fact that when they knew that after you died, you could still experience. Like when the physical body is so-called gone, you can still experience through your DNA. And that's what they're not telling you. And this is because of the fact that we live in two different worlds, and they're not telling us this. Right now, we exist in two different realms at the same time. So when they say you're mentally disturbed and you have problems and things of that nature, you may not be mentally disturbed. You may, but you may not be mentally disturbed. You may be communicating with an intelligent force that's actually trying to communicate with us and trying to reach out to us to try to merge or link this world in with that world. That's the eventual goal. But at the same time, it's going to come with a war, that can't be explained in words, as they always say or whatever. So what I tell people before you get into any deeper aspects of the occult, the main point I want to make: study the language through and through. And then not only that, start to go into reading the scriptures in Hebrew and things of that nature, and study the language. And you'll find that you'll get way more information, and way more jewels will come out of what you're trying to understand and investigate. And even after that point, if you don't understand something, that's when you come, you get a reading or something like that. And I know I said I'm not really doing readings right now because I'm kind of on a sabbatical. So where I'm kind of doing these videos, essentially what you can do is, people are just donating and things of that nature to 13signsastrology@gmail.com, and they're just sending me and texting me questions and things that they want me to address in videos. So essentially, I'm just going to be dropping a lot of videos. Like this video was inspired by a guy that felt like he was mentally disturbed, but come to find out, he's really the reincarnation of Inky. So I'm going to go into that more, man. Again, man, if you're interested in a reading, or a live reading, essentially, you have a question that wants to be answered, which is kind of like a live reading, you text me at 513-304-8638 after you make any type of donation through our PayPal, which is at 13signsastrology@gmail.com. So I'll be coming back up with more, man, just getting recalibrated and adjusted to this new agenda, because I'm going to set up a base, a real live home base, because I feel like what's going to really happen, I'm going to say this is shut down. What's about to happen is like, these beings are going to try to take back over the planet, and things are on the planet are going to get very violent. So if you don't have like a survival kit and food and stuff like that in a place to be storing yourself away, you're running a risk of being infiltrated by this new government that's really trying to come. This old government is trying to resurface on the earth. They call it the kingdom of God in the Bible, but it's not as pleasant as you may think it would be. So hopefully we'll be able to address some of those things in future episodes. But again, study the words and the language, and know that now you much more than an animal. When they talk and they compare you to animals, these are different experiments that different beings came to speed up our evolution so that we would have jumps in our DNA. And they call it junk DNA because they don't understand these aspects of your DNA that are awake when you think you sleep. They're still moving around, and it's another word I'm looking for, but these aspects of your DNA are still activated. That's the word I'm looking for. They're still activated. Even when you think you're asleep or dead or something like that, there's parts of you that are interfacing with a reality in your dreams and all of that you have no idea understanding of. And once we get a full understanding of that, you'll be able to get anything. You'll be able to manifest anything you want, any type of amount of money you want, but then you'll be responsible for the karma of what you manifest. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down, man. Y'all hold it down. And as always, adios. Have a good day. Hotep. Namaste.